Welcome to a Holy Mess podcast. All right, my friends, we all know life can be so difficult and painful at times, especially when we're carrying grief or loss or wrestling with shame about our past, anxiety about our future, or frankly, like we are just not enough. But there has to be so much more for us. There is hope and joy, peace, love, fun, purpose, and a reason that you, my friend, are on this planet. Let's partner with God so you can be who He created you to be as you wrestle through and trudge through your mess. Hi, I'm Dani, a recovering alcoholic, a mom, a wife, a mentor, and dust. We are only here for a moment. Let's live like it. I'm just like you. I'm a holy mess most days. Actually, every day. Let's have some fun and laugh while trudging through our mess. This stuff doesn't need to be dry and boring. Let's dig in.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the podcast. You guys, I'm so grateful you're here. I hope you're having a great week. We're having a great week. We just wrapped up my daughter's homecoming dance, so that's been fun. My daughter had senior night last week, so it's been emotional because she's a senior in high school. And I don't know if I'm just, man, there's like a lot of grief that comes with the different changing seasons in life. Even my son, who's a freshman in high school, he's only a freshman, but I'm already grieving just the different seasons. And so anyways, I'm a professional griever. I don't want to brag, but I feel like grief is just my constant companion. Good things, hard things. This last week, one of my best friends from childhood, her dad passed away. And I got to tell you, man, it hit some buttons in me. I mean, I'm just grieving for the family. I'm grieving just so much the loss of this gentleman. His name was Cal, amazing man, just so full of life and zest, and been struggling health-wise, but it came kind of suddenly, even though he was struggling with his health. But man, I got to tell you, I even grieve the great parts of the things that happen in life because, you know, he was my softball coach, and I'll tell the story more at some point. But man, you guys, I'm just telling you, even the great things that have happened in our life, there's a sense of weight to it all. There's a sense of feeling to it all. And so even going back and reliving some great memories, it's heavy because, you know, we're all so far apart now and just different seasons for life. And so I just want to acknowledge, man, the different seasons of life bring some bit of grief and loss. And so even though some seasons were really good, as we transition out of them, or they're just different now, it just hits some grief. And of course, when we lose someone that we loved and admired, and it just hits all the buttons. And I'm really grieving for my friends who have just lost, you know, their pillar. And so just incredible human being. And so, you know, I just want to acknowledge life is just hard and heavy at times. So just be patient with yourself, whatever you're walking through. So you guys, today's episode, so we actually just wrapped up a meeting with one of the Feel Better Journey groups, and we talked about this concept. I actually had Jim on the call, and we talked about this concept about how our deeper core wounds still affect us and drive us at times. And we all know this, right? We all totally get it. But what we're trying to do is break these things apart in bite-sized pieces so that we can begin to get transformation on the micro level, right? So like the macro level, this big, 30,000 foot view of transformation and walking in God's grace and acceptance and love and care and compassion for ourselves and receiving all that Jesus has for us. Like, that's one thing, right? But then to really get down into the micro level and the daily incidents that happen in life, and how do we find compassion and grace and care for ourselves in the small things that happen? And how do we use these small incidents or these small, hard moments as teachers or as ways to heal those bigger issues going on? And so in a moment here, I'm going to play a short clip. I'm going to tell a story where I was rejected recently, and or it seems like I was rejected, but it hit the deeper core wound in me of rejection and of, I've got deeper core wounds like ejection and abandonment and all of these things that really, honestly, guys, they haven't completely gone away. Even doing all this work and even finding all this healing in the Lord, I feel like so much of these core places are still in me. And so it's my job to nurture them and to bring them into community and to bring them into the light with the Lord, and just to begin to take care of these places and spaces in me. And so one of the things that I mentioned as I'm sharing this story, and remember this story that I'm sharing in a moment is a clip from this audio from the Feel Better Journey, the group that we were just a part of. And so if you're not familiar with the Feel Better Journey community is my small group coaching program where we dive into different healing modalities. We dive into different ways to rewrite our story and to unpack kind of where we've been and where we're going. And, with anything with coaching, it's very focused on where do I want to be and who do I want to be and what does my future hold for me? But I really think that part of that work is done best when we're open and honest about the past and the harmful things that have hurt us and are hindering us. And so it's this delicate dance, but that's why we take 10 weeks to do it in community. And oh my gosh, our groups right now, I'm just loving our humans. These groups are my people and my community. And I love our Feel Better Journey community and just my journey friends and all the things. So if you're interested in jumping in the next round or just finding out more about it, you can go to the link in the show notes and click through to the website and you can just find out more about the Feel Better Journey. Join the mailing list and I'll send emails with just different information so you can see if it's a fit for you in this season. But as we jump into this audio shortly, and as I share the story of what happened, one of the things that I want to mention, because Jim, my therapist, was on the call and he actually had shared an amazing concept that I had never even heard of. And then now I've done all this research since we got off the call and I Googled it and all the things. So here's kind of in summary. So Jim told this story that I'm going to summarize really quickly for you so that the short audio makes sense. So you have context to what I'm talking about. But scientists have realized that the universe has this low hum. It's this background noise that is constant. It's a static background and it's going on constantly. And scientists, now that they know that, they have to take that into account anytime they measure the distance from one star to another or from one galaxy to another or the distance between black holes and all of that sort of thing. So they have to take in account the background noise of what's going on in the universe, this low pitch hum that is always there. And so as I tell the story, I want us to think about our core wounds or the different things that we've been affected by in life as this background noise, as this low hum that's constantly there. Sometimes we're aware of it, and most of the time we're not aware of it. We're not aware of it till after we're triggered. And then we realize, oh my gosh, I was triggered because this issue in my life still has an effect upon me. And so you guys, all of this is about self-awareness. All of this is to help with deeper understanding for ourselves, to really walk in all the compassion and all the grace and all the love so that we can be who we were created to be. And I think, you guys, part of this is just figuring out the best way to steward our souls. I say this all the time in our Feel Better Journey groups, but you guys, you were given yourself first to steward by God, right? And then we're here to steward other people in our lives and in our communities. But first, we've got to figure out how to steward ourselves really well. And remember, when we realize different things that drive us or affect us, even on an unconscious level, right? Like for me, rejection, it's just this constant lens in which I look through life in. Just being aware of that helps me take a step back when something happens and be able to have the conversation with myself. And sometimes it's immediate, sometimes it takes a second, but have the conversation. Was I really just rejected, or is that just the core wound of rejection, flaring up inside of me? And then I can go to work in my head and heart and mind with prayer or meditation, or bring it into the light with another human to bring comfort to those places so that I'm not reacting out of that place of rejection, right? Because in life, we always want to be able to respond and not just be a reactive being who's always triggered. And so anyways, I hope this episode encourages you. I hope the story encourages you. And I just want you to know, whatever your background noise is, whatever that hum is, some of us are really aware of our deeper wounds. Some of us, we know some of our deeper wounds, but it's really hard to even think about some of our deeper wounds. And so whatever your background noise is, I just want you to know you're not alone and you're not the only one with that background noise, with that hum or with that tendency. And so I think one way to figure out what it could be hitting deeper is to pull out a piece of paper and maybe just start writing through it. Like, could this be a rejection button, or could it be a betrayal button, or could it be a not good enough button? Like, what button is it hitting in me? And you guys, the quicker that we can work through these things and not try to get rid of them, right? There's that quote, what we resist persists, the sooner we can find peace in it. And the sooner we can even begin to laugh about oh, there you are, old friend. rejection, oh, Dani, you're okay. You're not rejected in this moment. And then you can self-talk your way into more peace. All right, friends, I hope that this short audio blesses you. And I hope that you have a great week. And I'll be in touch in a few days. A couple weeks ago, Gary and I went back to an old church that we hadn't been to in about 5 years. And we love this church. It's really where a lot of healing in our life came from, but we haven't been there in 5 years because of some other, I'll tell the story another time. So we go to church, and just when you talked about the background noise and then how we are attuned to the negative thing that happens, right? So I'm walking out of church. It was a great service. I felt really good. And I ran into an old friend who was in leadership, and he was just a little curt and cold. And I just felt a little rejected. Now, here's the thing. Gary didn't feel rejected because Gary doesn't carry rejection. Okay. Gary, in fact, carries acceptance. So like he feels included in every room, where I feel rejected unless, someone like put a padded seat at the table for me. Right. So, because I just carry this root of rejection. So this man's like little blow off really triggered me. And the whole walk to the car, 3 minutes, I was like, I'm never coming back. They don't want me here. I'm telling myself this whole inner dialogue of rejection. And I get in the car, and literally, I don't know if it was the presence of God. I don't know if I caught myself or whatever, but I was like, hang on a second. The senior pastor came up. He was so grateful we were there. The new executive pastor came back, gave us so I was like, oh my gosh, all these other people were so excited to see us, gave us hugs, like, so glad you're here. All the things. I was so accepted by about 20 different encounters, probably not that many, but a lot of encounters. And this one little quick blow off was all I could think about. You guys, that's what Jim's talking about. My background noise is rejection. So when this one little thing hit, it flared up everything, and it washed away 20 or 10 major awesome things that happened where I was accepted, I was invited, I was wanted. But that one little rejection is what triggered me. And that's what Jim's talking about, you guys. And the only way I was able to work through this was I quickly thought about, wait a minute. Oh, Dani, you just carry rejection. So of course, this one little man, he's not little, but this one man's blow off of me, this little encounter, it just triggered that button in me. So then I began to tell my story, but wait a minute. The senior pastor was so warm and inviting. His wife, the staff, over and over, people who haven't been seen in years were like, oh my gosh, it was like a homecoming. And that's what I want to take from that moment and from that event, not that one little blow off, right? And so we've got to figure out a way. If I didn't honor the feeling, I wouldn't have been able to be like, oh, it's my core rejection that triggered that feeling. It's the core, it's that background noise. So then I was able to honor that, bless myself, know that that's my weakness or my soft spot. I'm not going to say
don't shame yourself for that voice.
No way.
It's like, of course I would amplify and totally, plug into the negative that's out there. Of course I would.
Of course.
And Dani, in a year and 5 and 10 and 20 years, you'll still do the same thing.
Yes.
And that's okay.
But being aware of it, Jim.
Being aware of it, and then learning how to take yourself through there.
Yes.
Nurture that part of you. It's hard because the felt experience, the felt belief is that negative belief.
Yeah.
And that's what exists, right? All that exists is what I experience.
Yeah.
What I experience is what I see. They say you see what you look for.
Yeah.
This is it, right? Okay, then, but you did a good thing because you were able to then dialogue with that part of you.
And I was able to now have the felt experience of acceptance and of being wanted, of being desired to be there, and all of the things. So that's what I'm trying to do and rewire my brain into a more place of acceptance and of rest in right? All of the things that I'm trying to do. But the only way to do that is to acknowledge the core wounds. And the only way to understand these core wounds is to figure out why I have these feelings and to honor
and to get triggered and actually to get triggered that you see it.
Yeah.
That's your gift. That guy was your teacher.
Oh, bless him.
That was your gift.
Bless his heart. Bless his little heart who rejected me.
Hello, my friend. If this episode blessed you, made you laugh, or triggered you, hey, that's growth. Please do me a favor and share this with a friend. And if you feel led, please leave a written review for the show. That really helps us out. Don't forget you are in good company if you're feeling more broken than you'd like to admit. And you are more loved than you can ever imagine. Have a great week. See you next time.